Good evening, everyone, and welcome into the brand new HearSports Podcast Show. I'm Kyle Newman, your host.
And I'm Rhett Hensley, your co-host.
On this show, anything sports goes, whether professional, NBA, NFL, NHL, college, or even high school. Debate is highly likely, laughter is always encouraged, good times is a given, and hashtag great sports talk will be a reoccurring theme. Tonight we will talk about the NBA, current conference finals, and prediction of the NBA finals. Talk about the PGA. Will Tiger win another major? Is he done? Preview the U.S. Open next month. Debate NFL, Cowboys versus Colts, and chat about Kobe's career. What are his accomplishments? Where does he rank all time? Rhett Hensley, a brand new show here. Welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to the show. You know, getting away from our Pacers podcast, which we're still doing, but we also started a little new podcast.
Gig. A little
yes.
side gig. That's what we have here. It's really great stuff. Well, I'm glad you're doing well. I'm doing well, too. Thanks for asking.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Absolutely. All right, well.
Not sure I asked, though, so.
You didn't, jerk. So, here we go, though. The conference finals, Rhett. A team just closed it out 4-0 with the win tonight in blowout fashion, and that's the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are moving on to the NBA Finals after sweeping the Hawks 4-0. What'd you think about this series?
Well, I think the Hawks played like a bunch of girls, to be honest. But
put it bluntly.
Well, but you also got to understand, when you put LeBron on a team, he makes everybody better. Now, I don't like the fella, that's for sure. But he's making everybody on that team better. Like Tristan Thompson, J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert. I can't say the guy's name, but
Matthew
Dellavedova.
Just stop. Matthew Dellavedova.
We're hanging on it. But, yeah, he makes everybody around him better. And it's going to be hard to beat a team like that when everybody on the team is just going out at all cylinders. Tell you what.
Well, obviously, it hurt with Kyle Korver getting injured last game and being gone. It hurt with Carroll getting injured 2 games ago and not really have been himself. But really, what amazes me is how deep this Cleveland Cavaliers team. I've said it many times. LeBron James makes everybody better. This team is without Kevin Love. They have been without Kyrie Irving for many games in the playoffs, and yet they still dominate teams. And from the beginning of the year when LeBron came to Cleveland, I can't stand the guy. Obviously, we're Pacers fans, but you have to respect the talent. He's the best in the game, one of the best ever. When he went to Cleveland at the beginning of the season, I predicted, which is what we'll get to here, but them to be not only in the NBA Finals, but to be NBA champions and bring a title to Cleveland. I don't want to see it happen, but I see it happening. And you look at this series. Let's recap a little. Game 1.
Debbie Downer.
Realist. Well, here's the thing. Game 1, the Cavs won by 8. Game 2, they won by 12. Game 3 was the closest game, and a game where Atlanta should have won on the road, really. 114 to 111 in overtime, they lost. It's a game where Cleveland just came back and showed their grit and their depth, and LeBron just took over. Now, I want to get your opinion on this, Rhett. We'll get to in a second. Just obviously Game 4 tonight, a blowout, 118 to 88. So not even close, no problem. Bring out the brooms. And the moving on. But, Rhett, in Game 3, we saw questionable calls with the ejection of Al Horford, which I know you are against, and you were telling me, it goes back to what we talk about in the Pacers podcast show with the fact of the inconsistent officiating. It's been bad, and they're calling flagrant 2 ejections when it shouldn't be, and that I think this was a situation like that where Horford was tossed. We both kind of agreed. Matthew Dellavedova kind of had a dirty play in this. He kind of had a dirty play the game before injuring Kyle Korver. What'd you think about it?
I think Matthew D, he's a dirty player. That's what I think.
Just call him D for dirty?
Yes, and I can't say his name, so.
Hey, whatever you have to do.
But the thing that really just irks me is that you can have a guy like Dwight Howard blatantly throw an elbow at somebody's face, and, Al Horford, clips his shoulder, maybe nicks his, his neck or head, and Al Horford gets thrown out, but Dwight Howard does not. That
grinds your gears?
Really, it grinds my gears, especially since the league came out and said earlier that they are not going to upgrade that to a flagrant 2 because it wasn't flagrant 2 worthy. And then you're going to call Al Horford's call a flagrant 2. It
goes to show the
inconsistency.
And beyond that, the issue with the rule itself, and
yeah. The timing was great there, by the way.
It was, but here's the thing: whether or not he got tossed or not, the Hawks were not going to win this series. Cleveland dominated, but
could have made LeBron more tired.
Exactly. You would like to you would like to see the correct calls made, because you never know how it could change the course of this game. So maybe it went to a 5-game series, but regardless, I think that it's the fact that there are inconsistent calls with this flagrant especially, and I don't know if it's the specific Joey Crawford officiating crew. It seems like every time he's in the crew, there's always controversy with how he calls the games, and it's something I agree I'd like to see changed. I do think that Dellavedova did go a little too far trying to injure him, and maybe Korver as well, but the thing is, this series was over, and it is officially 4-0. Sweep him, no problem. Time for rest, and they're on to the NBA Finals. So that is in the Eastern Conference.
Kyle.
Yes.
What am I referring to? Another One Bites the Dust.
Queen. It's a great song.
Who am I referring to in the past couple days?
Well, I'm not sure. Fill me in, Rhett. I'm trying to
Joey Crawford taking a spill on the floor.
So he had to mention it.
It's made me laugh for the past 24 hours.
he did take a fall. He did.
Yep.
Yeah.
A little embarrassed, but
poor guy.
He's old. He's retired.
He is. Maybe that'll wake him up and make the right calls.
Yep.
I guess we will see with that. But let's go to the other side. The Western Conference Finals. It's not as lopsided as this Eastern Conference Finals was, but if you looked at where the series is right now, you might think it is. Warriors lead 3-1. Game 5 tomorrow night, and they can try and close it out at home, the toughest place to play in the NBA. But a place where Houston has played extremely tough against them in games 1 and 2, and in fact should have won the game. So it could be a completely different series here. Houston's not afraid to go on the road and extend this series. Will it happen, Rhett? Or will Golden State be meeting the Cavaliers in the NBA Finals?
Well, here's how I see it. It's Stephen Curry. He has to, which we could probably see. He took a spill in Game 4.
Brutal.
It was brutal. I felt bad for the poor guy. I thought he broke his wrist, first of all. It looked like his wrist should have been hurting more than his head.
His wrist, of all the things you notice, he falls hard on his noggin and he notices his wrist.
If you watch it, his shoulder and his wrist just get annihilated. And, oh my goodness, that is probably one of the toughest spills I've seen in a while.
Yeah, forget about the head, Curry. How's your wrist?
I mean, he was so bad, he was like stumbling walking out of there.
Yeah, he was. And
yeah.
It goes without saying that he's the leader of this team, and if there's any way they close out Houston, it's going to be with him being the Steph Curry that they need. He gets that crowd more fired up than anybody because of he's hitting his shots. But do you think that they win Game 5 tomorrow night and close them out, or does Houston extend the series with a little momentum?
If Steph Curry is playing, they will close it out. That's my prediction. Put it in the books.
Write it down.
But if Steph Curry gets diagnosed with a concussion or whatever, hopefully it won't happen, I think that they will more than likely get beat. But I do believe that if Steph Curry is healthy and playing, he will be good.
Yeah, I'd imagine at some point tomorrow, by, let's say, mid-afternoon, we'll probably hear an update on what his status is for the game, whether it's a game-time decision or not. But I would imagine he will have to pass another concussion test. But I'm going to agree with you.
I'd like to throw this out there first before you start out.
Yeah, please do.
Trevor Ariza, what great sportsmanship he had by coming up to Stephen Curry and telling him it was not on purpose. Just a play for the ball, going up for his jump shot. But I thought that was tremendous. Great sportsmanship, going and apologizing, making sure that there was no bad blood there.
Yeah, you have to love the good sportsmanship for sure, definitely. Now, I agree. I think that if Curry is back and is on fire, I think they win. And they move on, closing them out in 5. But if he is not, if he doesn't play, Rockets win. If he plays but is not the same Steph Curry, and Houston is on like they were in games 1 and 2, competing on the road, I think they win and force Game 6.
So, do you think Josh Smith is going to be on fire?
No, I don't. I think that it's going to be another 45-game-point performance for James Harden, and I think that's what it's going to take. I think that Dwight Howard is going to have at least 15 rebounds, and I'll say the same amount of points. And I think that the bench players are going to have to play a big role. I don't see it being Josh Smith having the biggest role. Maybe a Jason Terry, somebody with the playoff experience to hit the big shots from outside, but I do think that the Warriors will win this series. If they lose tomorrow night, I think it will be a 7-game series. If they win, they're moving on, but I do think they'll end up winning this series regardless if they lose tomorrow night or not. But it's been interesting. Let's recap really quick the series. Game 1, Warriors won by 4. Game 2, they won by 1, and that was the crazy ending where James Harden was going to take the final shot. By golly, they didn't take a timeout, which I think they should have. But
people say he got fouled, but that's just an excuse.
Yeah, he was off to the races, and I think that they would have been better off taking the timeout, but they didn't. He got double-teamed. Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, the duo, tied him up. Stole the ball, game over. But 1-point game there could have been the other way around. So competed hard. Game 3, the Warriors blew out Houston on their home court. Disappointing if you're Houston fans to be ready to come back home and expect to get into the series and you lose 115-80.
That's a little Chef Curry.
Yeah.
Just mixing up the pot there.
I like how you did that. Yeah, he was on fire, that's for sure. Game 4, Rockets finally won by 13, and they got themselves into it a little bit, and let's not mistake, they came back down 3-1 against the Clippers. Can they complete what no team has done in NBA history to come back 3-0? I don't know. I guess we will see with that.
What's your prediction on that? Do you think that they can?
I gave you my prediction, right?
Do you think that they can come back and win it?
Of course they can. Anything can happen, but I don't think it will happen. I think that they whether they lose tomorrow night or not, it depends. It's a 7-game series, and the Warriors win it in 7. If Houston wins tomorrow night, I do not see them pulling off the comeback, but I can't say I wouldn't like to see it.
What?
I like the Warriors. I love to watch Steph Curry and all, but I also like James Harden, and I like comebacks, and I think it's great for the game. And if they could come back in 2 straight series, that would be phenomenal.
Oh boy, you better move on to the next segment before this is another 15-minute conversation.
Hey, that's okay. There's always leeway. But no, that will be interesting to see. But no, my prediction. Let's get to this really quick here, Rhett. NBA Finals. We know Cleveland's there. I think we're both predicting the Warriors to get there. So, Warriors, Cavs. Who you like?
Warriors in 7.
Wow, bold. Are you serious?
I'm as serious can get.
Warriors in 7. Why? And what does it take?
The Warriors can score. I think that the Cavs, if they want to win, they're going to have to play tremendous defense. LeBron's going to have to guard Stephen Curry, but I feel like LeBron will not be able to contain him.
Okay.
And I am hoping that he will not be able to contain him.
That's a ridiculous statement.
No, Steph Curry.
LeBron not being able to contain Steph Curry.
Steph Curry can get off a shot any type of way. He could throw it behind his head, and more than likely, it's going to hit near the rim or it's going to go in.
But LeBron is so much bigger than him and is the best defender in the NBA at his position. He can guard anybody.
We'll see. He can guard anybody on the court, but I think with his little leg problem right now and the other stuff he's whining about, I think that Curry's going to make him run. He's going to make him tired. He's going to wear him out, and Steph Curry's going to come off the pick, and he's going to do some serious stuff.
Well, I respect your pick, but I disagree.
Yeah,
I think the Cavs win in 7.
You're crazy.
And I think that LeBron will carry this team on his back like he's been doing to this point. I think that he will one-up the MVP. I think when it comes down to crunch time, he will take on Steph Curry, and he will lock him down. And I think that he will close the games with the ball in his hands like we've seen him do many times. With
saying that he's clutch?
He's clutch. And he's going to continue to be clutch.
Elaborate.
He's going to get his 3rd ring. I hate to say it, but it's going to happen. And it is going to be in 7. Now, interestingly enough, it will be a phenomenal NBA Finals, maybe one of the best we've seen in the 21st century. These two teams were even in the season series, 1-1 against each other during the regular season. This will be such a phenomenal matchup to watch, and
two places that are just hard to go to.
Yeah, they really are, and I think that it'll be exciting games to watch, and it'll be fun to talk about on more shows for sure, because the NBA Finals will be relevant, and it will be interesting to cover and highlight each game really to see how it goes. But
all right, I respect your decision.
Good. We still have
I disagree.
Well,
so
that's all right. Agree to disagree. We will get to see, but the interesting thing is it's not there yet. One team's there, but the Warriors and the Rockets are still dueling it out. So we'll see with Game 5 tomorrow night. All right, Rhett. Let's transition into the second segment here. All right, and
yes.
PGA. Let's talk a little golf. we're avid golfers. We should have made the tour.
Golf boys, man.
Golf boys, man. We're going flat bills. Ricky Fowler for Fowler flat bills. We're going Bubba up. We're going button up. Button up. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, my goodness.
We love them.
Awful.
We're naming off some of our golfers that we love to watch. We're going to talk about my favorite golfer and answer an important question, Rhett, that has been asked since 2008. But let me just bring this up to you here. I should have beaten you when you came down to visit when we played, but I'm ready. I'm ready for you again. You may have a little streak against me right now.
A little. It's 12.
But
I don't call that little.
You know what? Maybe not. But I compete. What can you say? I maybe have lost the game a little, but the love for it's still there. And
Yep.
It's getting closer. It's getting closer, Rhett.
Yeah, you can keep having the love for it, but I mean it's a good thing to keep having the love, especially when you keep losing, because then you get discouraged, and I start feeling bad for you. And I'm sorry that I have to keep taking the scorecards from you. Sorry.
You know what? I am too, but there will be a day.
I almost had to give you one in Myrtle Beach out of pity.
Oh, gosh.
A
sympathy scorecard. That's not what I want. But I'll tell you what, I do want to beat you again, and I do want to get back out on the course because golf, it's great, man. And the weather's been beautiful, and I want to get out there. But you know what? Let's talk about Tiger. He's my favorite golfer. Is he yours?
No.
Wow. Well, who is yours?
Well, I like my boy Rory.
Rory McIlroy. That's your man, huh?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
That's okay, too. So, okay. It's an important question, Rhett. I want to ask you first. Will Tiger win another major, or will he be done and stuck at 14?
Well, I will have to say that I think that he is done. He is not going to win another major. His time is over. Passing the torch down to Rory, just like the commercial showed.
That's a great commercial.
It's a great one. It is a great one. But, I think his time of shining has come to an end.
Wow. So you went there.
It's disappointing because I do respect him as a golfer.
With all that he's accomplished, I certainly would hope so.
Yes, he has accomplished a ton. And, he's 39 years old. He's not too old. He's older than me. Yeah. But he's got the injuries that keeps recurring. And I think that,
mentally, he's not the same mentally on the course right now, struggling with his short game. And all right, your prediction I have to agree with. And I've stuck.
You went there.
I did. I stuck with I had my foot down that he will win another major. I've been saying it since his last one in 2008, the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines. This is the last major he won, his 14th, and he's been stuck there since 7 years now. I've been for 7 years on his back and believing in him. He will do it, and each year he disappoints. And he's gotten close in some of them, but he can't get over the hump. You mentioned it. He's 39 years old. I think he's done. He's done. Right now, he is currently ranked 156 in the world. Awful. Wow. The thing is with him now. I have to say, because of his age and the injury and what he's dealing with on the course, and too many other hot golfers like you mentioned, Rory McIlroy getting the torch passed to, and how about Jordan Spieth, who is my age and playing like a boss and has won a green jacket like he predicted at 14, who's probably the hottest golfer right now.
You're talking about playing wise, right?
Yes, he is second. He is second in the world golf rankings. Rory McIlroy just has the edge up right now, but
Rory.
Not by much. And Jordan Spieth, you can go either way. You go through the top 10 there. All great golfers, but those two are the relevant young studs now. And certainly, I just think Tiger's time is done. I don't see him. I want to see it. Don't get me wrong. I hope he wins. I hope he passes Jack Nicklaus's record. I've been wanting him to pass his record of 18 majors for years. But I just don't see it happening. Now, this is a point I want to make. He is 39. Jack was 46 when he won his 18th major, and that was in the 86 Masters. So, if you look at that, you think, okay, golf is one of those sports where you can play it until you die, baby. And obviously at some point he switches over to the senior tour, but it can be done. And, I mean, we've seen Tom Watson still competing at 50, and plus he's gotten close in majors the past few years. It can happen. I wouldn't put anything past Tiger Woods, who I think, regardless of if he wins another major or gets to Jack's 18, I still think he's the best golfer ever to live. I think that what he's done in this era is incredible by any athlete professionally across the boards, and how he's impacted the game and marketing and advertising. I think that all around he will go down as the greatest. I would love to see him get another one, though, just so he doesn't kind of have that on his reputation of, well, yeah, he was great from 98 to 2008, but the last 10 years of his PGA career were downhill, and what did he have to show for? I don't want to be Tiger Woods. And he's won some PGA Tour events in the past few years, but not the money makers, not the majors. And I hope to see it happen, but I just think there's too many good players out there in the top, let alone top 20, top 100. And he's at 150. I mean, it's crazy. He's way down there. He's way behind the competition, Rhett.
From what I've seen, Tiger, as you said, 14 major championships, U.S. Open. He had a one-stroke lead, went in the playoffs. And, right there at 2008, I think maybe, 2 years after that, he had the problems off the course with his family, and I think that's where really he started going downhill.
He did.
That was one of the issues that I think that got into his head, and it really messed him up. And then right after that, he started messing with his shot, which that I don't see.
Any of us can tell you, when you start messing with your shot, a.k.a. pull a putter out, things can get interesting.
Yes, he's broke 5 club heads. Kyle Newman has. On accident.
Well, you know what, Rhett? If you could please tell everyone that the putter did work. He did use a putter for a while on every hole. And I had a streak against you, man.
He might as well just left his clubs in the car and brought his putter. He could hit that thing at least 100 yards. I am not even kidding.
100 yards. I had drives that were longer than your drives. 150, man. It was classic, and I miss it because I've lost the game. But I feel like Tiger Woods a little bit with what he's going through. I feel you, Tiger. I feel you, man.
His worst round would more than likely you'd probably start doing. You would start doing cartwheels around the whole place for that score.
Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't, Rhett? But listen to this. Here's why else I really don't have faith in him winning another major this year. I mean, he's played in 4 events this year. Okay? He's won 0. I'm going to go through them. The Phoenix Open, he was cut. the Farmers Insurance Tournament, he was cut. The Masters, tied for 17th. So he actually played pretty well in the Masters, but it was late. He came on late, and that's been his issue lately. He comes on late, he gets 2-3 over par, and the competition's running away with it at 8 under after day 2, and pretty soon he's out of it. Players are doing to him what he did to them 10 years ago. It's crazy. Yeah. And then the Players' Championship just a few weeks ago, tied for 69th. He finished 3 over. So with what he's played in, he hasn't played a whole lot, and he hasn't played all that well. And in the one major this year, he finished tied for 17th.
The last World Golf Championships that he's won was back in 2013, and he won 2 of them. The Cadillac Championship and the Bridgestone Invitational. So, I mean, it's been a while.
It has been. It really has been a while, and he's just everything is down for him. His driving distance, his accuracy.
It's about the time that I started beating you and started my streak, Kyle.
Hey, you know what? You're funny, buddy. You got jokes that I don't you. Wow. Well, and that's the thing. So, I don't see it happening this year. And, we asked the question here, Rhett, is he done? As far as majors, it sounds like we both agree. We don't want to see it happen, but we think he's done at 14 majors. Now, is he done winning tournament? Will he win another PGA Tour tournament? Yes, I think he'll win another tournament. But as far as the big money, I don't see it happening. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think that he could win another tournament, but
not the big one.
Not for the whole kid and caboodle. I don't think that he can get that. I don't think he can get that one. Now, the Invitationals, I believe that I feel like he's got a couple more maybe that he can pull out. He has his good rounds of golf, but he also has his awful rounds of golf. So he is, let's say, the Josh Smith right now of golf, or of basketball.
Inconsistent.
Yes. So, it's really just how he plays. It's going to all determine.
It really will. It really will. Well, to finish up this segment, Rhett, let's kind of preview the second major of the year. The good old U.S. Open. Here, what do you think? Chambers Bay in a month in Washington, the U.S. Open. Who do you like? And who do you not like? Go ahead, Rhett.
Oh, boy. Let's see here. So, I totally didn't even look that up. But
unprepared.
I was unprepared.
I guess that I should go first.
You threw me off there.
My goodness. Well, to get in that, I'll start off with this. Last year's champion was Martin Keimer at Pinehurst at the U.S. Open. I am one that totally believes that the previous year's champion doesn't even finish in the top 10 the next year. I don't see it happening. It's happened before, and you've had winners again consecutively, but I don't see it being him. He won it last year. I'll tell you a guy who I do think will play well. And that's Phil Mickelson. Yes, that's right. My second favorite golfer. Almost a toss-up with Tiger Woods. I see the lefty competing in this U.S. Open and having a good chance. I'm going to throw out a couple other names. Ricky Fowler.
Flat bills.
That's right. And the amazing colored outfits that he pulls out. Puma. I see him competing. I see Dustin Johnson playing well in this tournament. I see Bubba. Really, a lot of my favorite golfers that are up there, I see all of them competing in this. I see, obviously, Rory McIlroy.
There you go.
Jordan Spieth. They're going to be up there. But I will make this prediction, and I'm going to say that Phil Mickelson will win another major. Phil is going to win the U.S. Open 2015, and it's going to be a star-studded leaderboard. Let me tell you what, and I'll tell you a guy who I don't see being in the top 15, and that's Tiger Woods. I hate to say it, I'm going to predict it right now. He's going to, after 2 days, be 3 over, and he's going to be 8 back from the lead, and he's going to be chasing. But I hope he isn't.
He's gonna make us feel really dumb.
Please.
When he gets number 1.
I want to see it. I want to see him win it, but my prediction is good old Phil. The master of creating shots, baby. Phil Mickelson wins the 2015 U.S. Open. Rhett, what do you think?
Let me shine some light on this. Sorry for me being a little unprepared on that one.
Okay,
you threw me out for that question. But my man, I'm going to have to go with my man Rory McIlroy. He pulled out a win for the U.S. Pulled out a win for the U.S. Open in 2011. He absolutely destroyed. He had 16 under. Jason Day had 8 under. I feel like Rory's he's gonna have a little bit of confidence going into this. He's got one under his belt for the U.S. Open, and he's gonna go in and I think take care of business like he usually does when he goes out and plays golf. But he did have a bad tournament the other day, as you probably know, Kyle.
I did.
He didn't play very good. What was it, 6 bogeys?
Yes. 6 bogeys. The kind of score that kind of makes us feel good because we shoot for bogey, double bogey golf.
No kidding. But yes, I think that is my prediction. I do believe, you think Phil might win this one?
Phil. That's right.
I don't see that at all.
You like Phil.
I like Phil. Respect for the left-handed golfer.
Who's your second favorite golfer?
I would have to say Phil.
Phil! There you go. So you're telling me that Tiger Woods is third?
It's a toss-up between my second and third. Tiger Woods and him are really my...
I thought Adam Scott was up there.
Adam Scott, well, he used to be one of my favorites. He's not probably in the top 3. I do like Phil, I do like Tiger, and I do like Rory. But, I have not watched much of Adam Scott in a long time, so it's more, I'm a Rory fan.
I'll tell you what, his belly putter annoys the heck out of me. They need to get rid of him, and I think it's coming. I've heard that this was the last year.
I think that players are starting to get away from that.
I've heard that this is the last year of the belly putters, that they are being omitted. So I hope so, because I can't stand to see them. I don't know if it gives players an advantage like a lot of traditionalists claim, but I sure like to stick with tradition and see the lower size one. And maybe it does with the eyesight and being able to have more control against the body. But I never use them because I think they're awful looking.
And you're cheap.
That's true. Yeah,
so let me shine some light on this. So, reason why Tiger Woods and I have a little controversy between my number 2 and number 3, Phil. He's just a great guy.
He is a great guy.
That bumps me up there. Now I did get to talk to good old Tiger Woods when we went to the PGA
Championship last year.
Valhalla. He did say what is up. He did not reply after I asked him. But he did say, what's up? So, Tiger Woods, he's a nice guy, but he did seem a little salty. He was not playing the best. That's for sure.
No.
But it was great to see him up close and personal, and I suggest that he wears a hat every day.
I do,
because that is just an awful
receding
head of hair. No kidding, like LeBron.
I know. Hey, I will say, Tiger Woods I agree, he doesn't look the same without a hat, but that was an amazing experience. That was my first professional golf tournament. What better one to go to than the final major of the year in Louisville, so close. That was an amazing time. We did a lot of walking.
Yes.
But it was great seeing those golfers up close, and how amazing was that course. Wow.
It was great. I wish I could have played it.
The shape of that course. If we can ever play as green of a course and as challenging of a course as that, Rhett.
Well, Kyle, we're a little too cheap for that.
Yes, we are. Please, send money. Yeah, absolutely. You got that right. So give me a prediction before we get on to a segment that we've really been looking forward to. Tell me, who do you think wins the U.S. Open 2015?
I'm going to have to go with my boy Rory, and I think the runner-up is going to be Phil Mickelson.
Rory!
Just like in the PGA Championship.
You going to put money down on it, then?
You know, I might have to again. I did last year on the PGA Championship. It came out with some dough.
He did, folks. He was confident, and he went down on the odds with his boy Rory, and he ended up winning it. My goodness.
And don't worry, it was Vegas gambling. I was in Vegas.
I know. My gosh. How amazing, Rhett, if he does it again. I kind of would like to see it because, you know what, that's what makes it fun. So
I know.
That would be interesting to see.
Fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely, a lot of fun. That just adds to the pot, doesn't it?
Oh, now he's mixing up his words. He's trying to dig out of that one.
Stirring a little chicken in that noodle soup. That's right, buddy. Well, hey, I can't say I would be disappointed if I saw Rory win, but I don't think that he will. So I guess we will see. It will be very interesting.
Agree to disagree again.
Yeah. No, I don't know about that.
Don't worry, we'll have this segment again.
We will, absolutely. As it gets closer, talk more golf because we love it. But, Rhett, it's time to get on to a segment that we've been really looking forward to. NFL.
Ready.
Your team is the Dallas Cowboys, and my team is the Indianapolis Colts. White and blue. And the debate is on. The Colts are the best team in the NFL. The best ever, and the best that there will be.
No.
Don't you agree?
No. Now, let's look back in history, Kyle.
Oh, so you're one of the typical Cowboy fans here looking at history.
December 5th, 2010, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Great
Peyton
game.
Manning, he was there. He was throwing. He threw 4 interceptions. 365 yards. Not a great game for him. It came down to the wire. OT, 35-35. The Dallas Cowboys make a 38-yard field goal. David Bueller to win the game. Now, let me reference.
Did you make the playoffs that year? Of course not.
Let me reference.
But we did.
Let me reference.
Please go ahead.
December 21st, 2014 game. I would love. Now, I can't wait for your opinion on this one, Kyle.
I can't either.
Colts, 7. Cowboys, 42. And trust me, there was no deflated footballs in this game, baby. No deflated footballs.
But you know what there was? A locked-up seed for the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh,
so they didn't need to play.
They were still playing for something. If they would not have played. And Drew Luck for so long.
You know what? They played him because they don't believe in resting the starters. And
but they believe not in playing hard?
Absolutely. Because the playoff seed was locked in.
That is a total crap.
We were getting killed. I think it was. And I'll admit this, it was a struggle. We got down early, but the point being, once we were down, it wasn't an important game from the start. It meant nothing for us because we already had the seed locked up, and it was at Dallas. So what?
Now, weren't you guys chasing a higher seed in that?
That's why it didn't matter.
I believe that you were.
No, I can
I believe that you
we
were. I believe I can't remember what team it was.
You can't remember because it wasn't real.
So you're telling me. No, let's fall back. Let's fall back. Take this back a second. You're telling me.
Take it back.
You're telling me that a team they're gonna keep their starters in, by golly, but they're gonna go out there and whisper in their ears, "Don't play hard."
That's right. If you have a seed locked up.
Okay, listen to that. That is the dumbest thing.
It happens all the time, Rhett. And the only difference is teams have the idea of, okay, well, we're either going to rest our starters to show that it doesn't matter, or we're going to play our starters like we did and not play as hard because it doesn't matter. So you can look back at one game. And I'll let you have your fun here, Rhett, because in a second I'm going to see how last season turned out for you all. But let's just continue talking. The point is, we were not playing like we would have if it was Week 7, which is what I want to see. Because that's what we really want. We really want to see a game that matters, whether it's either in the playoffs or earlier in the season when there is implications. We had no implications, so we weren't playing, and we got killed. And so what? The loss didn't mean anything. But that didn't make.
You're telling me a guy that believes that you should play hard every game and fight no matter what. You're telling me that a game doesn't matter, right?
When it comes down to who's better, because that's what this was really about. Who rocks, man? Yes, I'm telling you, it didn't matter. Because we weren't playing our full strength. If it was,
you weren't playing your full strength. Oh my gosh!
Here's what I can assure you: if it was a playoff game, bye Cowboys. If it was a regular season game that meant something, we wouldn't have been down 3 touchdowns by halftime. It would have been no problem. But see, that's the fun of looking back, Rhett, to see.
That is where. Oh my gosh!
But you're a head-on-head guy with it, and that's okay. Typical Cowboy fans.
Typical Cowboys fans. I'm sorry. I'm looking at statistics for the past 6 years when we've played.
All right. You know what? Let's talk statistics. I'm glad you brought that up because I love statistics. First of all, how did last season end for you guys after you finally
we got screwed
made the playoffs? Well, let's see. You didn't get past the divisional round once again. You watched the beautiful Indianapolis Colts improve another game under the Andrew Luck era and get to the AFC Championship game.
And get murdered.
But at least got there.
Continue on. No. Oh, yeah. Bet you when they started losing, you guys probably gave up, right?
No.
Okay, continue.
But we were cheated against. Of course, that's a different subject for a different day, typical Patriots. But regardless, we lost that game, yes.
Got a funny picture for that, by the way.
But at least I have a team, Rhett, that I can
keep
gives watching.
Up? That doesn't play very hard?
No, that is successful.
Oh, no, that doesn't play very hard.
That each year I'm like, going into this year, we're actually going to advance in the playoffs. We're not going to be watching other teams play, like your Cowboys. So suck on that. But... how about this? This is what I really want to get to with the statistics, because I'm surprised you haven't brought it up yet, because typical Cowboys fan, which by the way is not America's team, a typical Cowboys fan will always, and they're like Steelers fans, will always go to the past, looking at the history, because they can't face and sit with what's been recent. And let's talk about recent. And let's talk about this. First of all, the Indianapolis Colts have only been a thing since 1984. Sure, we have one Super Bowl, but that was in the 21st century. 2006. More relevant than anything you guys have recently. You've won 0 Super Bowls in the 21st century. In fact, you've only been to the playoffs 5 times in the last 15 years, with only 2 playoff wins. You've never advanced past the divisional round in the past 15 years. We're relevant in the meantime, we're relevant every year. We always make the playoffs.
Now,
we're
Carl,
always competing in the conference, and we're improving each season, Rhett.
Kyle, can you bring that back? When did you say the Colts were established?
Super Bowl champs in 2006. We were established in 1984 when Baltimore moved to Indianapolis. So since 1984, we were the Indianapolis Colts.
But they do have 2 Super Bowls.
Yes, because one of them was in Baltimore, but that's not Indianapolis. This is our separate franchise that was started in 1984 thanks to that move. Not affiliated with Baltimore. Indianapolis, 1984.
Now it does.
So why don't you tell me about it? Let's talk about relevancy, Rhett, because a typical Cowboy fan, how's 2 playoff wins in the last 15 years? You must love being a Cowboy fan, huh?
That's great.
That's a lot to cheer for, isn't it?
You stick with your team.
Yeah, you do stick with your team, don't you?
Now I can tell you right now that our team did not give up. Our team did not give up like if a game didn't matter.
You know what? You don't give up, but let's face it, last year was a fluke. It's going to be proven.
Last year was a fluke. Oh my.
Last year was a fluke. You guys aren't relevant. Every year you continue to be in the news, and you continue to finish 8-8 and miss the playoffs, thanks to the Giants or the Eagles. So
just like the Cowboys and Colts game was a fluke. All right.
So here's what I want to hear. Rhett, talk to me when your boys make it to the playoffs twice in a row.
All right, after the season.
And then you can talk to me, because really, you have no place to talk other than that.
We'll be having this conversation. Oh, my.
And then I want you to talk to me when your boys make it to an NFC Championship game. Then
what about the Super Bowl?
We'll have something.
Just like Tony Romo said, the Dallas Cowboys.
Tony Romo, don't get me started on this guy.
Oh, my. All right. Well, he's made a prediction. They are going to have a Super Bowl this year.
He's been making that since he's been in Dallas. Typical Cowboys.
Okay, we're building around our team. Des Bryant, he signed back.
Well, you just got rid of the best running back in the NFL. That sounds like you're building.
That's fine. We drafted Byron Jones.
Who?
Cornerback. He's great. He's a warrior. He was very impressive in the combine. You know, he's following Brandon Carr.
Impressive in the combine is a lot different than on the field regular season, right?
Now it's my turn to talk. Be quiet. Brandon Carr, he's following him around like a puppy. He's getting from the vets, and that's great. So, let me move on.
Please. Could fall asleep.
Randy Gregory, defensive end. He does have his stuff off the field issues, but he could be a very, very good asset to the team. And, hey, the Cowboys have a heart, and they give people second chances. Just because he has off-the-field issues doesn't mean that we're going to deny him.
Doesn't mean diddly squat.
Career. Now,
you got players in there. Sure, you had a decent defense last year. You had
John Lee's coming back, baby.
You had a great offense, but again,
John Lee, he's coming back, baby. He's coming back.
And let's only hope he doesn't injure his knee in training camp, right, Cowboy fan? But no, the point being, Rhett, that's all fine and dandy, but it's not going to happen. Because you're going to be overtaken by the Eagles. You're going to be I predicted even the Giants would fit. You guys will finish third in the East behind the Eagles and the Giants. And even the Redskins are going to be improved this year. But let's face it, last year was a fluke.
Don't say that.
And the reason it can be, and I love saying it, right? Because you have nothing to go on to defend that, because you have no recent history that tells me otherwise of why I or anyone else should believe it.
Hey, now what did you say a little while ago?
I've said
history doesn't matter.
Recent history matters if you're trying to defend your team.
We are starting. We built
you're starting.
This
you're
year.
Starting fresh.
We built this year.
We
built this year.
Well,
we fought to be in the playoffs, and to be honest, we got screwed.
Every team fights to get into the playoffs. I could say we got screwed too. We got cheated against.
Hey, there's no evidence. You know, he has some. He's suspended 4 games right now.
There's evidence.
But
and he admitted to it. They're cheaters. But that's besides the point.
I wouldn't say that.
I have enough humility to admit that we would have lost regardless because we did get killed. But my
damn
point
right
being,
you would have lost.
But my point being is at least I have a team that I can look forward to each year of getting one step closer to the Super Bowl. And by golly...
Well, I'm going to put you in the same category as the Clippers.
And by golly, will it make me happy when we win the Super Bowl this year? Because we will get there. And when we get a Super Bowl and Luck gets his first and his fourth year, I'm going to be talking to you again on this show.
That happens. I would love to have that discussion. But I don't see it happening. Nor will I see it happening in the next 3 or 4 years.
Well, let me just tell you this. Power rankings off-season. You want to guess who's ahead of you boys? That's
I'm
right.
Guessing the Colts.
The Indianapolis Colts. We're ranked 5th. Power rankings overall. Your guys are 6th. We're going to have the number 1 offense in the league, and we're predicted to have that. It's going to be great. Defense, we're going to be middle of the pack probably, because we always are, but that doesn't matter. Peyton Manning proved that for us in the past, where he'll carry us on offense, and we'll get a Super Bowl, and we'll get to another. But let me tell you something about me as a fan, Rhett. I am not a guy. I am a loyal fan, and that means that I am not completely disappointed if we don't win a Super Bowl that year, because it only happens to one team.
And I like that, Kyle.
I am a guy who is happy with improvement. If we win 8 games one season, I want to see us win 10 the next. The next season, I want to see us win the division. The next season, I want to see us get past the wild card round. And that's what we've done each year. And to me, that is successful. And people get caught up on the rings and all that so much. And, yes, that's the ultimate goal.
Did you guys have somebody fighting with you in the division?
What's that?
Do you guys have somebody fighting with you in the division for that
No,
number
we
1?
don't. Our division's weak, and that's okay, because it gets wins.
So you got locked in by having a division win, right?
We get locked in not just by you play more in your division teams, Rhett.
Yeah, but
right?
yes, but you're locked in for the playoffs if you win your division.
Yes.
So you're talking to me about somebody that actually had a tough time about getting in the playoffs. Well, I'm sorry. We were fighting against the Philadelphia Eagles that were actually a team that you had to play against. So when you're going to tell me, get put in somewhere that is pretty tough, and then talk, because
I will, because
have somebody battle you.
I will, because we've beaten all those teams.
So everybody in your division.
So what? Yeah, our division. We've beaten everyone in your division.
Because they suck. Except us.
Yeah, recently.
Yeah.
But we have. It can happen.
You have?
And it will. And again, because you guys don't.
Decent.
And because you guys play us every 4 years, and every time we play, it means nothing, because it's always toward the end of the season when we already have a playoff berth locked in, unlike you guys. But
you guys have a playoff berth locked in because you guys are playing against scrubs.
No, we have it locked in because
scrubs.
We beat
scrubs.
Everyone.
You guys are competing with nobody in your division.
Rhett, you play more in your division, bud.
Obviously.
Exactly.
Be quiet. So here's what I'm trying to explain. You're having not just your division, you're having 2 teams, record-wise. Those teams you're competing against record-wise for that top division spot. You have nobody in that division that is competing with you.
Okay, the Houston Texans, aside from last year, the Texans compete with us, Rhett. They haven't been as good recently as teams in your division, but they compete with us. And I'll have you know, how'd the Redskins do last year? How'd the Giants do last year?
But there was one team. There was one team that was battling.
My point. Yeah, and the Texans battled us. They just weren't as good. So I don't want to hear it about teams battling.
How close was that?
What?
I'm pretty sure ours came down to the final, and we had the same record as.
Okay, so give us crush us because we happen to beat our opponents and don't get put in a situation where it comes down to the last game.
Yeah, because
we know how to win when it counts, baby.
You have an awful division.
Yeah, so what? It's not
so
much
what?
Worse
That's how you make it in the playoffs.
It's not much worse than what yours has been.
Oh, you're telling me that you wouldn't have had a problem battling the Philadelphia
That's
Eagles?
right. We should have beaten them last year.
Okay, but you didn't.
Right. And how'd they do? They missed the playoffs.
They missed the playoffs, which we were battling them for, that were actually good. We battled somebody that was good in our division. I'm sorry.
The Texans were good.
How good were they?
Good enough to battle with us. Yeah,
So,
exactly. So
good enough to battle.
The point being, Rhett, is that it doesn't matter divisions-wise. So we've every division has a team that struggles, but you play a lot more than your division teams. And I would say that it's more impressive that we go and we beat the best teams like the Broncos in the regular season in the conference than our division team. So what? So yeah, we're the king of our division. I love that. I'll take that any day. It's not our fault that the other franchises suck and they can't draft well. That's just the beautiful position we're in. But you know what? We make up for it because we win in the playoffs, baby. So obviously it doesn't matter.
I'm sorry that you guys got handed a playoff spot. You guys just had to show up.
Yeah, well, you know what? So be it. I'll take it because wins are wins. And I'll especially take it because we prove people wrong because we win in the playoffs.
Oh, so, I'm sorry. You guys were battling against the Houston Texans that had a 9-7 record. I am sorry.
And how'd the Eagles turn out?
They had a 10-6 record. 2 games behind us.
Exactly.
2 games behind us.
1 game
12
better.
4.
So I don't want to hear it.
And let's see here at the record wise. 12-4 for the Dallas Cowboys. 11-4 or 11-5 for the Indianapolis Colts. But God forbid.
Who went further?
God forbid.
Exactly.
They did not. They were not playing hard at the end. I'm sorry. They were not playing hard at the end.
Matter.
Yes.
Right?
All right.
I love how you get caught up on stats that don't matter because how did that 12-4 record do for you guys? And how did the 11-5 do for us? Well, it got us to the championship game.
I'm sorry that a stupid rule kept us from surpassing that game.
Typical Cowboys fan, make an excuse and have no humility.
I'm sorry that he caught the ball, but the refs begged to differ.
The rule's the rule, Rhett.
Now, Kyle, you have admitted he caught that ball.
Yeah, but the rule's the rule, so it was not a touchdown.
And that will be for a different segment.
And sure it will be, but that's my point. Typical Cowboy fans like to get caught up on this, and I don't blame you. You've got nothing else to debate me on. You have to nitpick these little things, and you have to get salty because you don't win. So I mean, it's going to be interesting. I guess that we'll see. So I don't know, but yeah, we're going to be going over a little bit over an hour today, folks, because first experiment. The first experiment on this first show where we get to just talk about everything sports and we can really get to talking. And when Kyle wins the debate over Rhett with the Indianapolis Colts, then you can really start to talk. Yeah. And the time flies. But we have another segment still that I want to get to, and we're going to get to it. So this may be an hour 15 show. You know what? That's fine. We'll try and get on track next week. But we love to talk sports, so that's okay with me. Is that okay with you, Rhett?
It sure is.
Colts are the best? Absolutely.
More irrelevant stuff.
Let's move on.
Go.
No. Hey.
Yeah. Don't get that.
It's a beautiful thing, Rhett, and I'm glad we got to debate.
It's a beautiful day.
But the Indianapolis Colts.
No. My prediction is Dallas Cowboys will go farther in the playoffs than the Colts. It's said.
And what will you buy me if that happens?
I'll buy you a New Jersey.
Which one? I already have my boy Andrew Luck's jersey, so maybe you should get me a newcomer, Frank Gore,
whoever
the new
you
leading
want.
rusher in the NFL.
I mean, what will you get me?
Nothing, because it's not going to happen.
Oh man, because that's
your prediction.
He's so secure.
Here's my prediction.
So secure on his bed.
The Indianapolis Colts beat the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl. And Andrew Luck gets his first. That's how it happens this year. And I also have I've got a good track record as of recent to get me to believe in that, right? You know why? Because we've improved each year. So AFC Championship last year. What does that mean for this year? Super Bowl. I'm looking forward to it.
Not going to happen. I mean, you guys got to improve at least by 30 more points or something.
Hey, again, I value improvement. It makes me happy as a fan.
Yes, you do.
You haven't had much to be happy about in the last 15 years.
Are you kidding me? We had great improvement, and it shows that we beat the Seattle Seahawks this year. And
for one
year,
hey,
there you go.
A little bit of improvement. But how about that?
I bet they weren't playing very hard. So we can move on.
Yes, we can.
They probably weren't playing very hard.
We'll leave it there, and we will get back to this again. Believe me, as the season gets closer, we will be talking about this again because I love my Colts. He loves his Cowboys. Let the best man win. It will be interesting to see, but let's get to this final segment, and let's talk about Kobe Bryant and his career. We're going to talk about his accomplishments. Where does he rank all time? Rhett, I'm curious to see what you think about Kobe Bryant's career. 5 NBA titles. 1 away from the great Michael Jordan, who he keeps getting compared to. I'll go over a few more of his accomplishments here and his career. What do you think of Kobe's career to this point?
It is a fantastic career. So many accomplishments from, MVPs to rings, 5 rings, championship rings. That is just an incredible number to get to, and it's very impressive.
Very impressive. What's more impressive to me is the teams that he's done it on as compared to Michael Jordan, but he is a 5-time NBA champion. He's appeared in 7 NBA Finals. He's a 2-time NBA Finals MVP. He's won...
Repeated.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a 2-time scoring champion. He's a 17-time NBA All-Star. He's a 4-time NBA All-Star Game MVP. 15-time All-NBA Team Selection. 12-time All-Defensive Team Selection. NBA All-Rookie Team Selection. NBA Slam Dunk Contest Champion, 17-time Player of the Month, and he has multiple career records. He's got the second most points in a game. He's played 81-point performance against the Raptors.
Great.
Unbelievable.
2-time Best NBA Player ESPY Award. 2008, 2010.
Exactly. He is a guy that has accomplished so much, and he's had a great career. Now, lately, it's been rough for the Mamba because he's been injured, and he's been on some awful Laker teams ever since Pau Gasol left. And it's been an issue.
Before that.
And it's been a thing of him just being loyal to the Lakers and living with them and dying with them, and I love that. But he's on his last home stretch. I think this is his last year. And
yeah, he did announce that it's his last year.
And so I'd like to see him go out with a bang. It's not going to be an NBA title. May not even be a playoff appearance, but...
Play the whole season, baby.
I would love to see him go out strong and be healthy because, you know what, it wouldn't put me past Kobe as a guy that it's hard to walk away from the game. So if he has a good year and he's feeling healthy, maybe he decides to sign another contract. Who knows?
Look,
but
let me throw this out there, Kyle.
Go.
Franchise records. Kobe holds the most seasons played, the most playoff seasons played, most All-Star game selections, most All-NBA first teams, the most All-Defense first team. It's incredible. It's incredible. He surpassed Jerry West, the previous holder. He surpassed him on February 1st, 2010, for career points. Yep. 32,437. That's as of January 7th, 2015. So he's just got incredible stats, and it's fantastic to watch a player like him play. And I hope he can come back healthy and be successful. And with that 2 spot in the draft getting picked, I feel like that they can have a decent team around him.
Yeah, so. And with how he played this past year, being injured and playing limited, he scored 20. He still averaged 22 points per game, 5.5 assists per game, and 5 rebounds per game. He's averaged 25 points in his career. It's been an incredible career for Kobe Bryant, and something I wanted to get to here with you. I want to talk about where he ranks all time, because I am not a guy, and we will talk about this later today on our Pacers show, but I am not a guy who is all about NBA rings. Clearly, my man Reggie Miller never won a ring, but that's okay. It's the ultimate goal, but it doesn't define a legacy to me. So the fact that he has 5, and he did it on 2 different teams. He had his Shaq in the early 2000s. Then he had his Gasol late 2000s, 2010 era, which was the last time he's been to the finals against the Celtics. It's been a long time. But I think that he ranks up there. I'm going to go through my list, right? I wanted you to tell me where you think Kobe ranks of all-time greats, but I want to see also if you agree with this. A lot of people will do their comparisons of who was better in this, and they'll do their top players of all time, but they all play different positions. So how are you really defining it? I think the best way is to go by position. But I will name off some of the top 10 players on most lists that are almost written in there. Michael Jordan is number 1 on almost everybody's list. Wilt Chamberlain, 2. Bill Russell, Shaquille O'Neal, Oscar Robertson, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Tim Duncan, Larry Bird, Kobe Bryant. For a lot of them, those are the top 10 greatest players of how they rank it. I don't necessarily agree with that. I like it more by position. And I'm going to say this. At the shooting guard position, which is Kobe Bryant's position, I think that he ranks right behind Michael Jordan, the second greatest shooting guard of all time. And that's Kobe Bryant behind Michael Jordan.
You put the nail in the coffin.
Now, I definitely have Kobe in the top 10 as far as just overall, not by position. In the top 10, I would definitely have Michael Jordan ahead of Kobe. I would have Wilt Chamberlain in there ahead of Kobe. I'd have Magic Johnson ahead of Kobe, and probably Kareem Abdul-Jabbar too. Other Lakers. Larry Bird is in the top 10 there, but not ahead of Kobe. I would have Kobe there in the right around 5, top 5 players of all time. No doubt in my mind, Kobe Bryant.
So the top 5?
I have him in the top 5. I have him as the number 2 shooting guard of all time. What about you?
Well, I think that's very, very well put. He is the number 2, in my opinion, with shooting guards. And I would have to say that I'd put him in my top 5 of all time. As you would say, I would put Kareem oh my gosh, this is going to get murdered. Kareem
Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
There you go.
I'm very bad with names, people. So
he is.
I would say Wilt Chamberlain. Shaq's probably, I'd say, about a 6 on my list. Magic Johnson. And Michael Jordan, obviously. But
obviously,
Kobe would probably be my 5th spot, as Michael Jordan would probably be number 1 on my list. But that just sums it up. We're on the same track there, Kyle, I believe. And, he's just got so many great games and a fantastic career. So
he really does, and he's been very successful. Obviously, the fact that he hasn't been to the finals in a few years, that's okay. He's been injured. It's not been the team broke up. That happens. And I think still to this point, his career has been so successful. I would like to see him go out healthy and on top. I always wanted to see him get that 6th and final ring to end it that way, to tie Michael Jordan. I just don't see it happening, especially with how deep the West is, let alone LeBron and the team he is on in Cleveland. But I don't see it. I don't see it happening, but I would love to see him go out strong at least. And that's okay to me that he didn't get his 6th ring. Again, that's not always what defines a legacy to me. He has so many other accomplishments.
It's the icing on the cake.
He was a great teammate, and he led the team. He was the foundation of this team. He came out of high school. He was immediately successful. I mean, this guy has had a great career.
Which shows that high school players coming into the NBA can be a great thing. But that's for another segment.
It is. So it'll be interesting to see how he finishes. But that's where, in a nutshell, that's where I see Kobe Bryant, and no doubt top 5 on my list. But so many people will disagree with that and will put other players ahead of him for other reasons.
Yeah, like
more
those
rings.
Idiots that think LeBron's already ahead of him.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's another segment for another day, for another show. But
exactly.
That is it's interesting, and maybe that will be a good debate topic, because you hear that one all the time now too. A lot of people, LeBron versus Michael Jordan. A lot of people having LeBron being able to beat him now in his prime. So that's another. Another great debate. LeBron, Kobe, Michael in their prime. Who's got the edge? LeBron, that. But I will give a spoiler, because I kind of sense. I gotta tell you, Rhett, I kind of sense a little disagreement here. So we're gonna end the show with a little disagreement, maybe a sneak peek.
With what?
To the future. But I do think that LeBron could beat Michael Jordan in his prime. And I hate to say it because I hate LeBron, but I am going to tell you that I think that LeBron all around will go down as the greatest player to ever play this game.
So you're saying that he could beat him in a game of basketball?
That is correct.
Well, obviously, they're 2 different positions.
Exactly. And that's my point.
You can't compare, because that's
my point about
positions.
There's
two different types of people in the league, and from then and now they are built to last.
Well, that's the thing. That's why people say in their prime. But that's why I say, I preface it on people. A lot of people may, you're crazy. Well, LeBron is much bigger than Michael Jordan is. He's much stronger. He's a better defender. He can do everything Michael can with dunks and everything. So that's why I stand by that. I just kind of sense we might disagree with that, so maybe it is a debate segment for another day. But to me,
I agree in that spectrum.
That's why I would put it that way.
Not the best ever.
And they both have changed the game, so you really can't go wrong with either one. I hate. Like I said, I am not a LeBron fan, but I respect how great of a player he is. There's no doubt about that. So that's kind of where we leave it. We both believe Kobe Bryant, successful career to this point. Yes. Hall of Famer, no doubt. First ballot on the first time when he's retired will be a Hall of Famer. First try, unbelievable career, and I hope he goes out strong, as it seems as you do too, Rhett. Now, let's clarify really quick before we go, you don't think he's going out with a ring this next year, do you?
Lands, no.
Okay.
Goodness
do you
gracious.
even think they make the playoffs?
I do not see them making the playoffs.
But he goes out healthy?
He goes semi-healthy. I think he'll play his last game close to the end of the season.
Well, good. Good.
And I better be there to watch it because I better see him at Indiana this year, or I'm going to be pretty freaking ticked.
I understand. Believe me, I want to see him as well. I actually have never been able to see him play either, so I would love to see that.
Out of all the games we've gone to, Kyle, we haven't been able to see it.
I know, and that's something we have to make happen. And I'll tell you what, if it couldn't work in Indianapolis, by golly, would I try and make it work against Memphis or someone in this surrounding area, Chicago or something.
Los Angeles.
Yeah, because I want to see him play before his career is over.
People, these are how our great road trips have started. A cough, we can't make it work, we make it work.
This is very true. It is. You never know, but we do have to leave it there.
Eyes, Harry.
Yes, exactly. You never know. It'd be fun. It can't hurt to pretend. I always say that. But it has been a great show, Rhett. We did go quite a bit over, but it just goes to show you that we can get talking and we get fueled up. We get fired up by this sports talk.
We can.
And I think that everyone's okay with that. But next time we will try and be on track with the hour length. But we had a good one, and we are looking forward to more. And by the way, we were off track a bit by doing it late Tuesday night here. We hope to be doing the show Monday nights and it be up by 8 o'clock Eastern time. You know, we'll be tweeting out just if things change because of our schedules and it has to be switched up. If we can't have a solid night, we'll have to see. But we're shooting for that, hoping to have the HearSports Show Monday nights and the Pacers Podcast Show Wednesday nights. We've got the duo, Rhett, and we are in. So that is all that we have for tonight. Thank you for tuning in to our show. To recap what was talked about on it, we discussed the NBA, current conference finals, and prediction of the NBA finals. We talked about the PGA. Will Tiger win another major? Is he done? We previewed the U.S. Open next month. We debated the NFL-Cowboys versus Colts. Go Colts. And chatted about Kobe's career. What are his accomplishments? Where does he rank all time? Thank you for tuning in to our show. Feel free to leave feedback, as we want to be able to address comments and questions on the show. Tweet and retweet the show at Kyle M. Newman, at Rhett Hensley, and at Indiana Pacers Talk. We will be back at it, hopefully, next Monday by 8 Eastern Time. I'm Kyle Newman.
And I'm Rhett Hensley.
Have a good night.